live in a world ruled by tyranny, where knowledge is suppressed and ignorance is glorified. A world where propaganda and misinformation travel the airways at the speed of lies. But in the midst of the violence and chaos, a great awakening is taking place. And as the media empires continue to collapse, a new network is forming. A network of truth, a network of courage, a network of awareness. Peace and greetings. You are now tuned into the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, where we examine current events, politics, health, finance, and topics of cultural relevance in America and throughout the world, while bringing you insightful interviews with guests that will both educate and inspire you. And now, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, ORRA the Informationalist.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo. How you doing? How you doing?
My aura is a network full of awareness and gifts like ORRA, the informationalist.
Yes, peace and greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world. This is ORRA the Informationalist, and you're now tuned in to the live broadcast of the Network of Awareness podcast radio show. I got my guest co-host, my brother from the same Heavenly Father, Brother Aban from the BOCC. And welcome to Faith Over Fear Friday. Let's go. This is an installment of the Legacy of Lies series, brothers and sisters. And in this installment, this episode is episode 67 of season 5, which is Great Understandings. We will discuss the hypocrisy and how people look to point out the hate in other people instead of looking at the hate they have within themselves, and much more. We're going to talk about a lot of things today. So welcome to the Network of Awareness podcast radio show. We're really grateful for your support, and we're working diligently to provide our listeners and supporters with valuable information that can assist you in developing a greater sense of social, spiritual, and self-awareness in our ever-changing societies and cultures. If you would like to donate and support our show, please choose one of the links in the description box, either the Cash App at $ Network of Awareness, or you can PayPal the Network of Awareness, and the links are there below. All praises to our Creator, the Most High in Christ, which inspires us, the very best in us. And brothers and sisters, today we're going to cover a lot of different things, Brother Aban and I. So I hope that you get great edification because, you know, there's those people that always like to point out the flaws and the stuff that's wrong with other people, but they never tend to look at the mirror. And you know what they say, that saying, when you point the finger at someone, you got 3 fingers pointing right back at you. They teach that in elementary school. So, you know, we're going to talk about a lot of different things in regards to that and some other topics. You know, I'm going to bring up a quick article about the EMT workers that have gotten their licenses stripped away for their lack of treatment to Tyree Nichols. And, you know, they didn't give him treatment for over 17 minutes, which is insane, which makes me think that there's much more that meets the eye to that story. But the topic at hand, brothers and sisters, is this systemic hateism is today's episode. So let me bring Brother Aban on the show. And shalom, Brother Most High in Christ. Bless you. All praises to the Heavenly Father. And welcome to the show, bro.
Hey, thank you, Brother Most High in Christ. Bless you and all the listeners and watchers. And I want to also give all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High through Christ. And like I say, according to the claymation Mills Lane and Celebrity Deathmatch, let's get it on.
Yeah, let's do that. It's an article that I pulled up that I found interesting. And before I do that, this thing with racism, I think that a lot of people are starting to wake up to the reality that racism is this lie that has a very long legacy. And, in my opinion, I can't prove this to be true, so I'm going to call it opinion, even though deep down inside I know it to be true. But I don't want to act like this is a fact because I can't prove it to be. But spiritually, I feel and I know it to be. But racism was created by the principalities, by Satan himself, because there is no such thing as race, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's already been proven time and time again that as human beings, there's people who have a lot of melanin in their skin complexion and in their biology, and there's people that have a little bit of melanin. But we all have melanin because without it, we can't live. We can't be alive in these bodies, in these space suits, so to speak, because we're out here in the cosmos. You know what I'm saying? In this realm. And that's a fact. It's just like it is what it is. We have all these social constructs and ways to identify people and things, but in reality, everything is based on spirit. And by the way, brothers and sisters, I got a lot of guests coming on to the show next week and throughout the rest of the month of March and going into April. So buckle up because it's going to get very inspirational. It's going to get very emotional. It's going to get very educational, as it has been. But we're going to start bringing guests on from around the world that are doing some great things. And I'm very much looking forward to that. Now, when it comes to this systemic hateism, it also ties into racism because when you think about racism, most of the time, if not all the time, when people are so-called racist and they're hating somebody supposedly for the way they look, the way they talk, a particular place they come from, a particular background they'd have, and this country being one of the biggest culprits of that. I think this country is probably the worst of the worst when it comes to that. But it's all a big lie, and it's perpetuated to create division, because as long as there's division, the powers that shouldn't be continue to maintain that power, brother. And that's just been the modus operandi of Satan since the days of antiquity. And it's always been this battle of ego, of I got to conquer you, I'm better than you, you're different from me, so because you're different from me, I have to control you or I have to destroy you. And it's like when it comes to racism too, and hateism, or should I call it hateism, because that's really what it is. It's hateism. It's really the hate that a lot of people have within themselves. You know what I mean? That's the hate they have within themselves. And it's projected onto others. And it's really that simple. There's nothing really else to it, brother. It's one of those things where this is spiritual warfare. And because of spiritual warfare, people are waking up spiritually to understand, like, I'm hating on people based on frivolous things that don't matter. Because at the end of the day, if we are going to judge each other, we should judge each other according to how the scriptures, how the Most High says we should judge each other. We should judge each other based on the fruits of our spirit, based on our character. What type of human being are we are. What type of person? How am I operating? Am I operating righteously, or am I operating with wickedness? Then we can judge, because then if a man is operating in wickedness, we know that that man is wicked. If a woman is operating righteously, we know that woman is righteous. And that's where it begins and that's where it ends. There's nothing else to look into. It's not like, well, that woman is righteous, but her nose is too big, or or her teeth are a little too yellow, you know, or that person's skin complexion is too dark, or too white, or too pink, because so-called white people have a lack of melanin. And so
Hmm.
because of the lack of melanin, you get to see more of the blood vessels and all of that, because um their skin doesn't have that melanin that can protect you from the sun that much. But does that make them less of a human being, having that spiritual being having that physical experience? Does that make them less, just because you could stay out in the sun longer? And it's all these different um perceptions that people have, that's been ingrained in them from a child until adult. It's all been conditioned within them through some form of teaching, through some form of discombobulated doctrine that came from some man or woman, that's based on some narrative that comes directly from them and not the Most High. Because the Most High gave us laws and commandments to follow, and it's very simple, but yet we can't seem to get it right. And it's because of things like this hate slash racism that we continue to stay divided amongst each other and play these sides, and only to look like fools. Because I remember a brother told me, he's like, if aliens really do exist and they're flying around in the sky, they must be looking at us like, look at these fools. Look at these dummies, worried about the most dumbest shit possible. But yeah, here we are.
Hmm.
So you could take it
Hmm.
from there, brother. You want to share your thoughts and stuff before we get into some of these
Yeah.
articles and possibly videos. We're gonna play some videos, right?
Um, yeah, I think I don't have any right now, but I think you might. I'm not sure. But what
Okay.
I do want to share my screen, because I looked up a word and I just want to bring it on the screen right quick.
Okay.
And let's see. It's something I learned in social studies. I don't know if they, show it anymore or whatever. But here we go. It is idiosyncrasy, and it means a peculiarity of constitution or temperament, an individualizing characteristic or quality, individual hypersensitiveness as to a drug or food,
Hmm.
and characteristic peculiarity. Now, when you take and apply this in like a social setting, it's like the scriptures say, how like goes with like, and different things like that. But I'll give you an example. You put this in a social setting. You throw a party, or I'll tell you what, you get a job and there's like 50, 60 people, 70 people at the job, or you go to a banquet or some family reunion, and you'll find out that all the drinkers end up hanging out with each other. All the weed smokers end up hanging out with each other. All the adulterers and stuff like that, they end up, and it may not happen instantly, but it ends up happening, eventually. But the reason I'm bringing this up is when we grow up in an environment, and I'm not talking about so because they got a lot of immigration going on, and mixing and stuff like that going on now, the melting pot, especially in the urban areas. But when you grow up in your home, you tend to be around people that look like you, that act like you, that you know they would do something that you would do, or they teach you things and show you things. This is how we season chicken, or you just take the chicken and you don't put any seasoning on it and you throw it in the water and stuff like that. So there's different things that we accept as normal as we're growing up, and these are individualizing characteristics. Now, when we go out into the world, we meet people different from us, right? So when we come from that, right, here's the thing, and people don't understand this. A lot of times, like for instance, black people, they'll think that white people are racist when they do something, and it was just they did something. They didn't do it with any intent, right? And then sometimes, you know, the racism is there, or the hatred, the outright hatred is there, and it's more or less like there was a racist dude at my job, but a lot of people didn't know that he was an equal opportunity hater. He hated everybody. So a lot of people would think, like black people would think white people are racist when they're not. But then again, on the flip side of the coin, um, a lot of times black people will do things and get a reaction and think that that's racism as well. And then there's also, people that have that haterism. So a lot of times we have to remember there's a difference between, somebody just being used to, and I'm not talking about somebody growing up in a home where they was saying the N-word, look at them N-words over there and stuff, as a white person, and then they come out and they say that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, something slight, something that this just may be part of the culture that they're raised in. And, black people are raised differently. When those cultures clash, those things are not necessarily racism. That's just are different, so if um if somebody's kids are raised up twerking and thugging, and somebody else's kids are raised up in church, and they don't tend to congregate with each other, that's not necessarily racism. That's just two different cultures. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of times
Yes.
people will look for that and say that's hatred. There was a public official in my city about, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, and he was the county executive. He had his kids in a city school, and they were asking him about different schools one day at a press conference, and he was like, "Yeah, I had to, take my kids out of this public school and put them over here because it was just too wild at this school." The school was like 85% black. And they were like, "Oh, that's racist." He was like, "No, there's some good kids in there. It's just that there's too many fights and stuff breaking out, and I don't want my kids there at the, wrong place at the wrong time." You
Right.
know, but no, he's racist. What? Because he wants his kids to go to a school over here where they don't have fights, knife fights, and people getting shot outside, or you know what I mean?
Right.
He's racist because he wants to protect his kids and keep them out that environment. That's not racism, but people will say that is, and that's just what I was talking about. That's that when you go into that idiosyncrasy where some people accept certain behaviors and some people don't. Just because they don't accept that behavior doesn't mean they hate you. That was it.
It's interesting because I grew up in the Bronx, and
Mhm.
I grew up around a lot of so-called black people
Mhm.
that are either, consider themselves to be African American.
Mhm.
But when we say black people, I'm talking about a lot of different people. Like I grew up around Puerto Ricans, grew up around a lot of Dominicans,
Mhm.
Cubans, Haitians, and Let me tell you something about Haitians. Haitians, as far as in my experience, some of the most beautiful people,
Mhm.
especially out in the Spring Valley, where I had a very fruitful relationship with the Haitian community out in Spring Valley, New York.
Mhm.
Um, who else? You got Cubans, West Indians, Trinidadians, Jamaicans. Jamaicans taught me a lot growing up. Matter
Mhm.
of fact, Jamaican
Mhm.
men kept me safe in the streets growing up because I didn't have a father to teach me none of that.
Mhm.
And who else? You got like I said, West Indians, Trinidadians, Africans, like your Nigerians and Ethiopians. So basically, so-called black and brown people, I grew up
Mhm.
around a lot. Did I grow
Mhm.
up around some white people too? Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
But you know what? As growing up and really as a man, the people who've done me the dirtiest in my life?
Your own people.
My own people, my so-called black and brown brothers and sisters, done me dirty, like dirty, dirty, like the dirtiest of the dirt. Guess who's treated me the nicest throughout my 45 years on this realm planet?
Why people?
So-called white people. Yeah. So-called white people. Now, have I had bad experiences with white people? Absolutely.
Yep.
I've had so-called the illusion of racism based on certain things with white people.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But if you add it all up in 45 years, if you
Mhm.
add up all the instances play by play, you're going to see white people being way more kinder and charitable to me than so-called black and brown people.
Mhm.
So technically, I should be hating I should be hating myself or hating the people that I come from, right? But
Mhm.
and I should be adoring white people all around the world, you know what I mean? But I, unlike many other people, have
Mhm.
woken up to the reality a long time ago that this thing called race is a big mumbo jumbo illusion. It's a big lie. So
Mhm.
when you understand that, the word racism doesn't have any value no more. It doesn't really even exist in your mind because you know it's bullshit. You know it's a lie.
Mhm.
So when it comes down to it, I started realizing, and this is before I really started embracing scriptures. Okay. This
Mhm.
is when I was in my Egyptology and esoteric days, that what I realized was that it's just based on energy. It's either you have that hateful spirit, like
Mhm.
that man you were talking about, you like, "This man hates everybody." And I know a lot of people like that, whether they be
Mhm.
so-called white, black, brown, purple, yellow,
Mhm.
they just hate everybody because they don't even like themselves. You know what I'm saying? They don't even like the world. They're just like, every day is a complaint. "Oh, I
Mhm.
woke up today. Fuck, I woke up. Shit." But the whole thing with understanding that this is a spiritual thing, it's like either
Mhm.
you got haters or you got congratulators. Now you
Mm.
see the saying back in the days, "I ain't a hater, I'm a congratulator." Why? Because
Mhm.
I'm the type of man that when I see brothers and sisters doing well, I'm
Mhm.
not criticizing them. I'm like, "Hey, keep it going. I love it. You
Mhm.
give me inspiration." But the majority of the world is not like that. The majority of the world always wants to find something wrong with somebody else, which you know where that stems from, right? That's
Mhm.
narcissistic behavior. That's narcissistic behavior, that judging spirit, that
Mhm.
Hippocratic spirit that you and I and several other brothers went through in class, and I'll bring it up
Mhm. Mhm.
because it's a chapter that I definitely have honed down on, so to speak.
Mhm.
And let me pull it up here.
Okay.
It's Matthew chapter 7, right?
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna read a couple of verses and you could take it from me. I'm just gonna read these verses for just to give more
Mhm.
context to what we're talking about here, because the Most High makes no mistakes. And when the Most High brings out the truth, that truth is so absolute there's really nowhere else you got to go with it. You just got to understand it for what it is and keep it moving. But in Matthew chapter 7 says, judge not. And I guess I should pull that
Mhm.
up, right? So
Yeah, if you want. I have it. I can pull it up too if you'd like.
now, you know what? That's fine.
Okay.
I'll just read it.
Okay.
It says, judge not that ye not be judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again.
Hmm.
Okay. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considereth not the beam that is in thy own eye? So you got a lot of people like this narcissism thing is off the chain these days because I remember a dude that this dude is always criticizing everybody else. And it's like I used to be like, dude, what about you? You over here criticizing people like you do no wrong, like you got your shit together, like you got your house in order, but your house is all screwed up. your
Hmm.
your ways are all screwed up, especially when you got people, and you know this way better than me because you've been experiencing this far longer than me. You know, there's a lot of people that claim they be like, "Oh, I love the Most High," I'm spiritual, but the fruits of their spirit don't show that. That's not the experience of the reality that we experience with these individuals when they're around. It's the complete opposite than what's coming out their mouth. And the fruits of the spirit are undeniable. It's like that saying that your actions speak louder than your words. And when you're judging people and being such a hypocrite, you know, it's like, look at the mirror, bro. Look at yourself. Look at yourself. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Because if you ain't right, who are you to be talking about something else when it comes to your brothers and sisters? And like in the scripture says, that mote, that little particle in a brother's eye that you over there criticizing and passing judgment on, when you got that beam in your eye and you blinded, bro, you can't see your own flaws. You can't see how messed up you are. And a lot of people are like that, brothers and sisters. They always looking to criticize. Oh, look at his sneakers. Oh, look at his shirt. You know, I don't like their hair and all that. It's like, what about you? What about you? Why not focus on yourself? And furthermore, and you could take it from here. The
Hmm.
last thing I'll say about this is like, why even criticize other brothers and sisters anyway? Why even waste energy in doing that? Instead, deal with yourself and deal with brothers and sisters accordingly on how they're treating you and your experience with them. Try to find something good. Try to find the most high within that brothers and sisters' eyes. Try to find the most high within their spirit. Focus on that, and maybe you won't have to spend no time criticizing and passing judgment on people. So that's all.
Hmm. I want to pull a quick example of someone not someone not uh, judging or being judgmental. Let me pull this up right quick. And I got a little echo coming from somewhere all of a sudden. Um, can you see this? Uh,
Yeah, let me
Sunny.
pull it up. I'm gonna
Okay.
add it to the screen here. There you go.
Okay. Okay. Sunny skies, all good news. May 6th, 2018. Man in Confederate flag shirt, and that's not all. Pulls over on freeway to help black man change his tire. Okay. So my dad's tire blew up on the freeway, and this dude with a Confederate flag tattoo, wearing a Confederate flag t-shirt with Confederate flag car stickers, stopped and changed our tire. My mind is blown. Don't judge a book by its cover, y'all.
And you see that's the most high revealing to that brother Like right there, that experience for that brother is gonna change the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He's not gonna look at the reality that he once saw the same way moving forward from that very moment.
Mhm.
His whole perception on reality is gonna completely shift. And that's what I call those confirmations of truth that the Most High reveals to you every single day. You know, brother, you know this. The Most High is always showing us things every day. At every moment, the Most High is
Mhm.
working through this thing called spirituality. And there's two things that are happening. Either you are aware of it
Mhm.
and you're paying heed to the messages, or you are unaware of it and you are naive and negligent to the messages. You're oblivious to what's going on because you're too
Mhm.
focused on bullshit, which pretty
Yeah.
much your ego is focused on. That
Yeah.
vanity, that
Yeah.
pride.
Yeah. You know? But
Some
some people will search, seek, scrape, scratch, struggle to find some hate in somebody else to use it as an excuse to say, well, this is why I didn't or I wasn't able to, or when all they're doing is giving that concept of hate power over them and letting that thought in their mind limit them in what they can achieve in life. No, listen, racism. I'm gonna let you deal with this, then I'll say something later.
Could racism increase the risk of heart disease in black women? Okay. So
Wow.
cardiovascular disease causes more than a quarter of deaths worldwide. Well, ever since the science appliance came out, it's way more than that now. However,
Mhm.
the risk of death from CVD varies greatly with ethnicity.
Mhm.
Okay. According to who? But let's go with this as being factual. Rates of heart disease are higher in African Americans than in any other ethnic group in the United States. New research suggests that racism is associated with higher rates of heart disease in black women. Well, let's hear why this is so. Two cardiovascular diseases: ischemic heart disease and stroke. And according to the World Health Organization, the leading causes of death worldwide together, they are responsible for 20% of the world's total deaths. The CDC advises the risk of CVD is increased by several factors: high blood pressure, hypertension, unhealthy levels of cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, lifestyle factors such as diet, high in saturated fats, lack of physical activity, smoking, and excessive alcohol intake. Now, think about that for a second. When you look at certain people that come from certain cultures, and the Boondocks talked about this, right? When it talked about
Mhm.
so-called black people, and this
Mhm.
goes with so-called Hispanic people too, because I know that in my culture, that's all we do is eat, you know, all that fatty foods like need and greasy stuff and all that. A lot of stuff that I love, you know what I'm saying? That I can't eat
Mhm.
no more. I don't eat pork no more, but I still have meats like chicken and stuff, and I'll have my patalillos and all of that stuff and my
Mhm.
acapulcas and all that. But, you know,
Okay.
with the Boondocks where they show like during Thanksgiving and stuff and how so-called black people eat all this unhealthy food.
Mhm.
So you would think that this is the cause of why black women are dying so much, because there's a lot of black women that have diabetes because of their lack of physical activity, because they're big. But guess what? There's a lot of big so-called white women that are dying from the same thing. But this is where the legacies of lies come in. This is where this thing called racism has to have a face. It has to be perpetuated in a certain way. The truth is already here. It's based on health conditions. It's based on that. But they'll say, black people get stressed out based on the circumstances they get put in. Maybe, But I've met plenty of so-called black and brown people that tell me, well, why are people getting so stressed out about how other people feel about them? Why do they even care? Show me a black woman or a brown woman who doesn't give a shit about what people think about her. Is she going to suffer from hypertension and high blood pressure? Absolutely not. Why? Because she focuses on the most high. She don't got time to worry about all of the pettiness. But when we put our energy into that and our quote unquote attention, because whatever we give our attention to, we give life to, we give our energy to, because this is all
Mhm.
spiritual. So does racism really exist? Because if I'm allowing your self-hate to be projected onto me and I'm allowing it to affect me, then I'm not spiritually strong. I'm getting caught up in the nonsense, right? Now let me
Mhm.
continue reading because I want to really bring this out because this all stems from hate. There is no such thing as racism. It really isn't. It's just people that hate, and people that congratulate. You're gonna hear me keep saying that throughout the broadcast.
Mhm.
All right. And let's just keep it real. A lot of our Hispanic sisters and you know our black so-called sisters, um, they're unhealthy, man. They're unhealthy, you know? And I'm not saying that so-called white women are healthier. I'm just saying based on cultural diets alone, let's not even talk about lack of exercise. This is a problem. That's why I salute brothers and sisters. I'm going to bring a couple of brothers and sisters on the show that are going to teach people how to not get caught up in this and really be healthy,
Mhm.
and not just physically but mentally, because it goes hand in hand, you know, and spiritually too. You got to be spiritually healthy, because if you're feeding yourself the wrong provision, you know, it's not good. Now, however, genetics and race also, see, here we go. This is the bullshit, bro. However, genetics and race, once again, race doesn't exist, but it says it plays a part in the risk of heart disease. Although heart disease death rates have been falling in the United States since 1999, these rates remain higher for black people than for other ethnic groups. There may be many reasons for this. Black people have higher rate. Um, what does that say here? Because my damn screen. Higher rate
Uh,
of some of the risk factors of heart disease, such as hypertension and type 2 diabetes, and
mhm.
and health iniquity and inequity for people of color in the US. And that's another thing. It's like we're still calling each other colors like we're crayons, bro. This is the insanity. And
Yeah.
even people that know this to be false still do it too. And that's when you really got to question yourself. It's like, I know this is nonsense, so why practice in this behavior? That's why I'm always saying so called when I say a so
Mhm.
called black person, because that's what society calls it. That's not how I look at it. I look at people as spiritual beings having a physical experience, and that's how I'm gonna stay looking at people until I leave this body, because that's what I'm experiencing. That's my reality that the Most High has revealed to me, and I'm sticking with it. I'm signing off on it, and I'm not gonna waver from that. You know. Now
Mhm.
it says, which contributes to lower life expectancy, high blood pressure, and strains of mental health, may be in part due to racism. Maybe now that
Yeah.
now they say maybe. Well, now a new study presented at the American Health Association sessions has suggested that the structural racism may contribute to higher rates of disease in black women, racism, stress, and heart disease. Another study found that racism can limit socioeconomic mobility, which may have adversely affect cardiovascular health. In addition, it suggested that perceived racism is a stressor that can induce psychophysiological physiological reactions that
Mhm.
negatively affect cardiovascular health. And you see, somebody that's reading this that's not well informed of their spiritual experience,
Exactly.
they're going to read this and they're gonna run with it. They're gonna be like, "Hey, girl, you know that."
But what about when the Bible said that these diseases would be on you more than any other people as an identifying mark, even in the last days of who you are? But
Based on
no,
what? Why?
based on us being sinners,
Bam,
you know,
bam,
it's just insane,
bingo,
bro.
bango.
Anything but the scriptures, they will go and get a bunch of bureaucrats and come with all kind of excuses, bro.
And where does sin stem from? If we were to give it another synonym,
Wickedness, not obeying the word of the
what's another
Lord,
word for wickedness that's based on
evil,
the title of this show?
hate.
Hate. There you go.
Hmm.
Hate.
Hmm.
It's the hate that's within.
Yeah.
Okay. What the systematic part of it is that it's well controlled and manipulated. But Satan can't make you hate anybody. Satan can't make you do anything.
Hmm.
It's when you allow that power to overtake you. It's when you give permission to the principalities. Maybe we should do a show like that, brother. What do you think?
Sounds like a plan.
Permission to the principalities, because we give permission for these principalities to run amok in our lives and
Mhm.
make us go crazy. We give our power away, not the other way around. That power is not taken from us. Okay. And just like how Christ was having that conversation with Satan, and Satan was offering him everything and the kitchen sink, he didn't take it. He didn't
Mhm.
take it. Why? Because he knew that the Most High was absolute. Like it's all about the Heavenly Father. It's about my Father, brother. Like you can
Mhm.
offer me whatever you want, but it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Have no power. You are not the source of all that is and ever will be. You just you just somebody that is vain and egoic and looking to destroy because you got nothing but hate inside of you and you trying to gain company. That's all Satan is. Satan is the misery that loves company, bro.
Yep.
And he loves it when it comes to that misery. So think about that, people, because at the end of the day, man, it's either you hating or you're congratulating. Pick one. Because I can tell you, being a congratulator is a far better experience than being a hater.
Yep.
Let's go to this other article, which I thought was pretty humorous.
Uh-oh.
Pretty humorous.
I'm hearing a little bit of an echo.
Man, we're gonna talk about the white man. The white man.
Yeah. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo when I talk. I don't know what it is.
All right,
Um,
I did something earlier.
yeah.
Maybe that's the reason why. So let me see if I could fix it because
Okay. I done clicked on everything I can
no,
over
I
here.
got you. I got you, brother. I got you. I think I know what I
Yeah.
did. I channeled the browser to go somewhere
Mm.
and okay, try it now. It
Okay.
should work now.
Yeah, there it is.
There it goes. All right. So
All
yeah,
right.
now I know not to do that no more.
Yeah. You hear
Sorry,
me, right?
Samak. I'm sorry, Samak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Samak was having the same
But-
issues probably because of
Yeah.
something I did with my
Yeah.
my
So you
configuration.
hear me, right? You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you
Okay.
just fine.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
so check this
Cool.
out.
Mhm.
Guy, okay, let's get some context. A white guy sues local bar for discrimination. It says, "You old white people act like you own everything. Get the fuck out." Maryland man has sued a local bar for allegedly banning him from their establishment because he's an old white man, quote unquote. Filed on February 18th, the lawsuit says Neil Glessner, 52, used to spend $500 a week. Wow. That was stupid of whoever owns that restaurant.
Yeah, we
I
can
would
work this out, bro.
that's a customer I want. That's the
Mm.
type of customer I was at a spot out here in St. Pete. They treat me like
Mm.
the king out there.
Mhm.
Um, it says you spend $500 a week. That's a friend I like to have. Let's go out to
Yeah,
dinner, bro.
yeah.
At Dan's restaurant and tap house until he was abruptly banned one day, allegedly because of his age and race.
Mm.
However, the restaurant owner, Charlotte Alden Brinky, has claimed that the banning was predicted on a repeated occurrences of disruptive behavior against members of our team. Oh, they got a video? Oh, okay.
Mm.
They got a video.
Mm.
Let's go. Of course, we got to get the
Yeah,
commercial
yeah, we got the
first.
commercial, yeah.
Let's let that commercial play out real quick. You
Yeah.
can see the video, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we're gonna hear it in just a
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Okay, so
There we go.
By some accounts, this has devolved into a proxy war between the MAGA crowd and a woke mob. The Inn's restaurant and tap room closed Monday.
the MAGA crowd and the woke mob, division, division, division. Listen, one thing I know when it comes to these principalities and these forces that of power that shouldn't be, they're always going to find a new name for this division. They're always going to find new names for us to separate ourselves.
Yep.
So now you got the woke and the MAGA. What does MAGA stand for? Make America Great Again, which also stands for um old middle-aged to old white people that are racist because they support Trump, right?
Supposedly. Yeah.
AKA they support a narcissist, okay?
Yeah.
And usually people that support a narcissist are narcissistic because
Mhm.
they see whatever's being projected within themselves, and that's what makes them
Mhm.
resonate with these people.
Yeah. You
And
know,
for the life of me, I don't know how the
mm,
hell you can resonate with a man like Trump, but if you
yeah.
do, you may have some narcissistic tendencies within
Yeah.
you.
Well, to put it in the way George Carlin said it, and I'm a paraphrase. He was talking about politics, and he was like, the system is so irreparably damaged, and we need people to come in and fix it. And where are all the good people of high moral standards and ethics that can come in and fix this system? And he was like, we don't have people like that in this country. And then he went on to say, no righteous man would want to rule over anybody else anyway. So when you get into that politics, all you're doing is saying my slave master is better than your slave master. These people are arguing
Wow.
about a concept of progressive liberal, which is progressive toward what? Progressing towards what? Socialism, communism, Nazism, authoritarianism, whatever. And then MAGA, which is make America like it was after World War II, in the 50s into the 60s, when it was like the space age and all this stuff. Uh, you know, um, the New Frontier era, you know, but that was when all the systems, or most of the systems that are crashing and destroying everything now, were set up. So neither one of those is the solution. I want this slave master that can't talk right, that's making money from other countries by all these contracts because of his political office, with his some type of substance smoking relative, or I want this guy that's this like narcissist and stuff. Instead of arguing, people should just be like, yo, why is gas $7 when it was $2? Or why is it $4 when it was $2? Why? But people don't look at that. They look at overall general MAGA and overall general progressive. And that's, like you said, divide and conquer. That's what the principalities want. They don't want you to wake up to see that you're getting screwed over by the system because it's one bird, right? And one wing is the left wing and one wing is the right wing. It's the same bird.
Yeah, I shared a post a while back, a couple months ago, that a brother gave to me, and it shows a wing nut, and it was like there's the left wing and the right wing. It's still the same nut. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Still the same wing nut.
one of their symbols is an eagle, a double-headed eagle. One is looking to the left and one is looking to the right, but it's still going where it's flying to. And as
Right.
long as you contribute to that system and give it energy, it's going to lead you to nowhere, which it's, again, prophesied in the Bible that it is all vanity. So
Right. And pride. Pride is the
Mhm.
beginning of all these sins.
Mhm.
Let's continue with the video.
Yeah.
With the sign posted saying it was to give the staff a much needed day of rest. They tried to bury us, it says on a window. They didn't know we are seeds.
My staff would disrespect, and he refuses to do so. Yes.
The battle started a year ago.
No, I'm going to go, but I just want to know whether I'm banned or not. I'm happy to go. You are banned. Yes, you are not allowed to come back here.
A soon-to-be circuit court judge and his friend banned from the bar in this police body cam video obtained by the Hagerstown Herald Mail.
Big call saying you're being rude or something like that.
No, I mean, I was sitting there. Another guy was rude, and they said, "Hey, you go tell your friend he was being rude." I'm like, I was just sitting here having a beer.
It is not on the tape, but in the lawsuits, Neil Glessner alleges that after complaining about waiting 40 minutes for a to-go order, a manager told his friend, "All of you old white men act like you own everything. Just get the F out. Neither of you are welcome here." The federal lawsuit alleges racial discrimination against white people, saying the same thing has happened to a half dozen other white men. The incident blew up on social media, and the owners posted that Mr. Glessner was asked to leave our restaurant due to repeated occurrences of disruptive behavior against members of our team. Nothing more and nothing less.
We're Switzerland here. We try to stay out of all that.
Some in town trying to stay out of the skirmish, but both sides say they have received death threats. Now, there have been protests here, and it is not clear what it will take to turn down the temperature in this small town in Boonesboro, Maryland. Bruce LaShan, WUSA 9.
Throw some beer on it. It'll be all right.
Wow, death threats over this nonsense. This is the world we live in, bro. It's petty. Just most frivolous things.
Back in the day, there was this black man, and he wasn't allowed to play golf on the country club. They didn't accept black people. So you know what he did? He went and bought some land and made his own golf course.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. I can't eat with you? Fine. I got a kitchen at home. Doesn't beer cost less in the supermarket or at the beverage center than it does in a bar? And if you want to, can't you, if the Lord gives you the resources, buy your needed materials and utensils and research and experiment and learn to cook better than that restaurant?
Facts. But, people like to socialize. It's like people like to be around other people, but then get mad when they're around other people. So it's like, if you are mad around other people, stop coming outside. You know,
Why don't you just invite your friends over to man
well, they
cave
don't
your
got no
garage?
friends.
Well, yeah, that's probably it. But man cave your garage. Be friendly. If a man wants friends, he has to show himself friendly, says in another scripture. Man cave your garage, invite friends over, man cave your basement or whatever, invite some friends over, learn to cook, have your socializing there, and don't tie up our court resources. That's a frivolous lawsuit.
Check this out. The whole episode centers around what happened roughly a year ago on February 18th of 2022 when the police were called to Dan's restaurant and tap house because of Glessner and his friend Joseph Michael. The lawsuit says the staff, including manager Mike Skinner, got upset. Check this out. When Glessner complained about waiting 40 minutes for a to-go order. Guess what? I would have did the same thing.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, yo, I've been here for 40 minutes. I could have watched an episode of The Walking Dead
Quincy.
already. You know what I'm saying? I could have watched the whole episode of The
Mhm.
Walking Dead
Yeah.
without commercials.
Hold on, bro. Andor is out. Next season of Andor. You could have watched the episode of Andor, bro.
I don't even know what that is, but
Oh, bro, you'll find out. Lord's will. We'll hook up and check it
all
out.
right.
But that's the thing, bro. What the reply was, get the F out. Oh, the reply should have been, you know what? I'm so sorry. That's unfortunate. I'm really sorry about that. Something's going on. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to get back to you. Let me get on top of it. Give me a couple more minutes.
At or near 8 p.m., approximately 45 minutes after he had placed his to-go order, plaintiff commented to his friend Joseph Michael, who was sitting in the bar, stating something in the nature of, "What's taking so long? I ordered a to-go order 45 minutes ago," the lawsuit states. A server overheard the remark and then snapped at Glessner, telling him, this was probably a millennial, telling him that the restaurant was very busy and he needed to be patient.
Snowflake.
A snowflake. Listen, I'm going to tell you something, and we were just talking about it earlier briefly. But these millennials, man, even my daughter, man, I'm always on my daughter. Like, yo, my daughter's like, she'll call me up or text me, and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I'm bored. I'm like, you bored? You 21 years old, like, you bored? And now she's pregnant too. I say, you better start using your mind. You know what I mean? And start figuring out ways to do stuff. You and your fiance, you bored. Like, I remember something that my sister Mel told me, that's no longer with us. She's like, I'm never bored. Why? She's like, because I have a mind and I know how to use it. I have an imagination. She's like, I'm always going to be finding things to do. How can you be bored when you got a mind, when you can think? You know what I'm saying? And that's something where it's like, if you don't use it, you lose it. A lot of old people that suffer from these mental conditions because they don't do nothing. They're not part, listen, I had a landlady that rented out a house to me out in Rockland. This lady was 96 years old, living on her own. Okay.
Damn.
She would read 7 to 10 books a week.
Ooh.
7 to 10 books a week. I would help her with stuff, with her computer.
Yeah.
She get on the internet. I show her how to do emails and all other stuff. And then she would do it on her Mac. Then she cook for herself, do some gardening, read 7 to 10 books, brother, a week. You know what I'm saying? And I used to ask her, I say, Evelyn, how do you do it? She says, well, I have to write things down and I just follow the tasks that I have to do for the day every day. And, she would listen to classical music. I mean, this lady was born in the early 1900s. You know what I'm
Classical music is the original beats, bro.
There you go.
A lot of people don't know that.
I used to always tell her, I'm like, I have no excuses.
Yeah.
I have no excuses because This lady's 96 years old, bro,
Mm, mm.
and was driving until they
Oh,
took her
bless her
license
heart.
away.
Bless her heart.
You know what I'm saying? But it's this thing where, and she was a so-called white woman, by the way. I
Mhm,
wanted to just
mhm,
mention that so for the
mhm,
context of the episode that we're dealing with here.
mhm,
But it's like, there's no excuses. Like people, especially with these millennials, they're too caught up in
mhm,
the mumble jumble that the powers that shouldn't be provide them with. It's like they're
mhm,
always looking for the new excuse. That's why this society is getting more and more messed up because
mhm,
they're focusing on the most frivolous things, just like brothers and sisters in this faith. What do they focus on?
mhm,
Oh, I'm Judah. Oh, I'm a Benjamite. I'm this. I'm
mhm.
royalty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
What about the fruits of your spirit, bro? What
Mhm.
about that? Because you wicked as all hell, bro. And you
Yep.
over here to considering yourself royalty? Really?
Yeah.
Like when I was talking about with Samak, it's like I saw Samak. I was like, Samak, I said, who we gonna bow down to first, Judah or Christ?
You know, and it
We're
was
gonna bow down
never
to Judah, right? We're gonna bow down to a bunch of wicked people. Okay.
yeah, it was never anything special about Judah. It's just that that lineage of Christ came through Judah,
Facts.
and a lot of people twist the scriptures. Like I was just reading over Genesis 49 last night with somebody, and you cannot take Genesis 49, Ezekiel 37 with the two sticks, and I think one or two other scriptures and some dream that a guy had in the early 90s and make that into the 12 tribes are only scattered in North, South, and Central America, especially when there's scriptures all over the world, all over the Bible that say Israel will be scattered all over the world and in these punished conditions, like having more disease more prevalent in them than other people. And these would be identifying marks for them to come back and repent to the Most High through Christ. But people twist scriptures, and like you were saying, it's their own doctrine, their own dogma, and they believe it. It's a whole bunch of stuff out there.
I remember hearing a long time ago, and I never forget it. It's like be careful how you treat people overall,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know how the Most High sees that person that you're mistreating.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who that person and how the Most High sees them in the spirit realm. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know that person could be of royalty in the eyes of the Most High. Like, this is one of my faithful children. This is one that follows the laws, the commandments, the statutes, the fruits of their spirit are very fruitful and strong and positive and benevolent. You don't know. And it could be that
Mm-hmm.
old white man with the Confederate flag shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's continue with this article because it gets even more comical, to say the least. Plaintiff responded that I should not take that long to make 2 burgers, to which the server responded that he ordered more than just 2 burgers. Plaintiff responded, acknowledging that he did, in fact, order a salad as well, but noted tongue in cheek that he did not believe it took so long to cook a salad. The soup continues. The server then left and returned a few minutes later with Glessner's order. He then took off, but shortly after he left, Skinner approached Michael and told him to tell Glessner that he was hereby banned from the tavern. I'll do no such thing. I don't work for you, Michael replied. The manager
Mm-hmm.
became upset, advised a friend that both he and the plaintiff are barred from the premises. The friend advised the manager that if he wanted to bar him from the establishment, he should call the police, the suit reads. And you see, this is dumb because if the guy's spending $500, now that's $500 you're not getting. That's actually $2,000 you're not getting a month that you just lost out on over some dumbness. And something I've noticed a lot with people overall, but it's become more prevalent with the younger generations, is that they get overwhelmed so quickly, right, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Our kids, like, they get
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed so quickly. Like, my daughter gets stressed out over the I'm like, what you overwhelmed with? Because you've been given 2 responsibilities to do at the same time? It's insane, bro.
You
It's
know,
insane how these kids get so overwhelmed with these types of situations where it gets busy on a Friday night.
mm-hmm.
Get the step
Yeah.
in. Put a little pep in your step. That's
Yeah.
what we had to do growing up.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was in the first grade. I left early. So, my mother was coming to pick me up and she pulled up in the car and I walked out. The teacher could see when the car pulled up. So he's like, okay, go ahead, go walk out school. So I'm walking out and I look to the side as I come out the door and one of my classmates is stabbing the other one. This is first grade, dude. I'm 6 years old.
Stabbing.
Stabbing.
First
And
grade?
yeah. And
What?
and I didn't need no grief counseling. So what happened was I went on to the doctor and I don't remember if I told my mother, but when I got back the next day, I was like, yeah, dude was stabbing dude, when I walked out. So, and then that's what happened. But they knew about it because the one dude, he ran back into school bleeding and stuff, holding himself. It was in the arm. I actually stabbed him like right, that vein they go for when they go to draw blood.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where he stabbed him. So he's holding like the inside of his elbow and it's all oozing,
Bro, I'm still stuck off of first grade, bro. How old was
Dude,
you?
I was
7?
6. I was
7?
6.
6 or
Yeah,
7,
I
bro.
was
And
6. Yeah.
so you telling me a 6 or 7-year-old stabbed another 6 or 7-year-old?
Yep. I forget. I think the one cat's name was Daryl, but the other one I knew him well up into my 30s. I think he passed. He was Keith Love.
Keith Love.
Keith Love, and
Yo,
you know,
oh man, I don't even want to get into that. That's crazy,
dude, I
bro.
had playgrounds. You had the playground like with the stand, and then it had the little piece that went over like this, and we used to go underneath it. I used to I remember one time I bumped my head on it so hard I was seeing stars. Went back in for lunch. Matter of fact, I got this silver in my beard, right? So I go to the store sometimes. I don't really drink, but people come from out of town or I go to celebrate something like I got this accomplished or I'll go buy a bottle of beer or I'll buy a
Yeah, we
six.
drink a light beer from time
Yeah,
to time.
I'll get a 6-pack, drink one, maybe drink one a couple days later and give the other 4 away or something like that. But they always proof me. And I was like, you need my ID? When I went to school, listen, I went to school in the city and I used to walk to school. And I had an hour lunch. I remember I used to walk home for lunch in like the first, second, and third grade, bro. I used to walk to school and they was like, damn, that's a long time ago. But the cashiers as old as me, like, yeah, I did too. Now let me see your ID. But most people are like, man, that was a long time ago. Yeah, it was the last century, but there's all this stuff that's a lot of times they come up with this mushy feely type of stuff and coddling the kids, and that stuff wasn't back there. Now, when we were younger, now a lot of times we do need to deal with our emotions better because it was a lot of people went to Korea, Vietnam, World War II, held all that stuff in, never told anybody about it, and used to beat their wives and kids unnecessarily. That is wrong. But this going out and being so full of emotions, the pendulum has swung all the way to the other side. Being full of emotions and words are violence. What happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Right.
And it's totally gone too far the other way, and people get caught up into it. And that's what happened here. It seems to be.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you
Hey,
got
but listen,
anything else?
now first graders are shooting teachers, so
Yeah,
that's where we're at now.
exactly. But listen, first graders and kindergartners are bringing guns and dope into the school. Uh, the smarter ones are bringing them little packs of M&Ms and selling them during lunch. But did you have anything else? Because I have some systemic racism examples that people don't look at.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to share it?
Yes, and this might surprise a bunch of people. I don't want to offend any snowflakes. Okay, so let's take a look at this and see what's happening here. It might be interesting. All right. Okay. NFL reverse. This is August 12th, 22. NFL reverses course on controversial race norming as awards more settlement funds to black retirees. Well, what do you mean? Well, what the NFL was doing was giving white retirees more money than black retirees because they said blacks didn't have the brain development and weren't as smart as white people, so they deserve less money in retirement. The NFL has been caught flat-footed after a practice called race norming was exposed to the public nearly 2 years ago. So this is while they were letting, they were so, you know, Colin Kaepernick he has a right to do this, and Black Lives Matter, pumping the fist. Didn't they just play the unelected, unofficial yet official, because they tell you it's the official black national anthem at the Super Bowl? But this is what they're doing behind the curtain. Red State originally reported on the issue in June of 2021, and there's a link here. Okay. The practice of race norming is the assumption that black players have a lower cognitive function base. It goes back to the Wonderlic test, the quarterback test, where all these quarterbacks were doing so much better, and all these white players were doing so much better than the black players. So they were saying they were going to be a better quarterback or better for this position or whatever. But then you had black people that scored low, but then had better performance as quarterbacks, but they still stuck with this theory. The practice of race norming is the assumption that black players have a lower cognitive function base, and thus settlements on brain injury claims are calculated by adjusting for race. The result has been to make it harder for black players to prove that they have been cognitively injured during the execution or the episode of their NFL career. So what it's saying is, you dumb N-words, y'all dumb watermelon eating, this, that, and the third, can't do this, can't do that, ain't on the level of white. This is not the white players saying this. This is the nonprofit organization of the NFL. And the workers of the nonprofit have to pay taxes, but the NFL, that's another one I don't understand. But it's interesting that in the 2000s, they would be doing this. But this is not what we see as racism. Because the white guy that has a Confederate flag sticker on his truck, he's the racist. Because I saw him on the highway. I don't know who he is. I couldn't see through the tents. I don't know what he looks like. I don't even know him. He's the racist. He's the problem. But it's insurance companies, the federal government, the old school, old money corporations that are doing stuff like this, that are actually having hatred specifically for black and brown people, and it's being overlooked because the news doesn't tell you that it's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's insane. I'm gonna read one more paragraph right quick. Well, a sentence and a paragraph. If the practice sounds disturbing to you, congratulations, you're a decent human being. A larger public outcry was sparked when two former players sued the NFL for their policy of race norming to determine which retirees were entitled to compensation from a $1 billion concussion settlement. So this came about, like, who was that? That was Junior Seau, and then Aaron Rodriguez, because they examined, when the autopsy, they showed that they had CTE. All right, so they put aside this fund. So this is mad recent. Okay, the NFL uses medical examinations and a battery of tests to decide which retired players have been cognitively injured as a direct result of their time in professional sports. Obviously, race norming gives the house better odds, and it is clear the NFL benefits from doing everything possible to restrict payouts to injured players. So why are you going to restrict the black players more than you will restrict the white players? And this isn't the white players doing this. This is upper management. All right. Now, 2 years later, hundreds of former players have had their medical tests rescored to correct the egregious bias. Meaning, yeah, because it was open to the public now. So you know what? Yeah, we'll give them their money, and then we'll have the Black national anthem, which nobody really knows is the Black national anthem because black people didn't vote to have it be the Black national anthem. We'll play that at the Super Bowl, and we'll make a couple commercials, and we'll do this and that. And that's going to be okay. This is just insane. So people look and search and dig for racism where it probably isn't, where it's probably an idiosyncrasy, and then they'll turn a blind eye to a multi-billion-dollar corporate entity that's doing this stuff to their favorite black and brown players. That's it. You want me to stop sharing?
And the shenanigans continue. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let me
Go
pull
ahead.
something up here just to show you what the Most High thinks about race.
Yeah.
When it comes to this nonsense about race and racism.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Most High does talk about nations of people, right? But we're talking about people, right? Which, in actuality, we're all created in the image of the Most High because we're all spiritual beings having a physical experience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's pull up a scripture here real quick.
Okay.
And can you see it?
Yes.
Is it big enough for the screen?
Yes, that is. That's a good size. What scripture is that? I can't see what scripture it is. Just let me know and I'll read it.
Let me make it bigger so you can read it off the screen. This is
Okay.
Leviticus 19:34.
Okay. Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 34. But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God.
What do you think about that verse right there?
Well, most people would take it and say, therefore, this country was not established on Christian values because black people were 3/5 of a man. However, this was not for America. This was for the people of Israel and how they should treat strangers.
Right.
right? And if you look at the people of Israel as they are known today, they kill more strangers, people that aren't them, than people that aren't them kill them. Okay. So this was supposed to be brotherly love, neighborly love, commanded in the law that, our people say is done away with, but then they talk about love.
Let's look at the definition of stranger according to the
Mhm.
Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It says, what does stranger mean in the Bible? In the Bible, a category of person is roughly translated as stranger, as in when a stranger sojourns with you in your land, you shall do him no wrong. The stranger who sojourns with you shall be to you as the native among you, and shall love him as yourself. For you were
Mm-hmm.
strangers in the land of Egypt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what is a stranger? It's just somebody that you don't know. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't really know much about them, but they're a
Mhm.
human being, right? They are a
Mhm.
spiritual being just like you. They eat, they crap, they fart, they sneeze, they
Mhm.
cough, they pee.
Mhm.
They do all the same things you do,
Mhm.
but they're a stranger because you don't really know them like that. They're not your
Mhm.
peoples that you be chilling with all the time,
Mhm.
but they're still just like you. They came from the same source
Mhm.
of energy that you come from, right? So
Mhm.
what's this thing called racism, bro? How does it even make sense?
It's
How
a
does it make sense?
it's a concept that
Correct.
that came about, I believe, in the 1600s, where and I've actually researched where they started talking about it, and there was a guy that like started putting it out, and the powers that be at the time started using race. And you got to remember the Catholic Church in, I think, either 1250 or 1360 banned the Bible. So when these people were enslaving us, like within the last 500 years, they were being told a justification from the Bible, from the Pope, and it was all an economic thing. But you had the Magna Carta and stuff like that, but they were supposed to be Bible based, but they offered no proof out of the scriptures. So it was all, and if you do look in the scriptures, you see that we were supposed to be punished for our sins, but it was all a concept to justify their economic policy, and that create that division. So from that point when that concept was created, there would always be strife between melanin versus non-melanin, and then over time, little bit of melanin would come out of that and be like a third competitor. But it
Brother,
was
real quick, that everybody has melanin. You can't live
yeah,
without it. You
yeah. I
cannot
mean,
actually be
okay,
alive if you don't have melanin in your
okay,
body.
little itty bitty melanin
Yeah, just a
versus
lower
lot of
level.
melanin, and then but
Yeah.
then so now I've had people ask me, "What are you?" And I would jokingly tell them, "The problem is not your software." Because it doesn't matter what you think I am. And also the thing with people that want to live alternative lifestyles, they think that because I taught the scriptures, I hate them. No, if you're not a hater and an a-hole and a problem child, and you can act like you have some manners, I have no problem with anybody. You know what I mean? So you could be black, white. Like, look at that guy we showed earlier. Confederate t-shirt, Confederate tattoo, Confederate stickers on his truck. Came over and helped that black man.
Because of what? The fruits of his spirit.
Yeah, he didn't have that hatred for black people, because to him that stuff meant something else. That black people say no body with that sticker um thinks the way, so that's why the guy was saying his mind was blown. And then if you research that and take a deep black hole dive on where that flag come, It didn't come from white people. They adapted it. But that's a topic that some people may not be ready to hear.
Well,
So,
guess what? That Confederate shirt wearing guy that day, he did some good.
Yes,
He
and that's the
did really
thing.
good.
And he wasn't being an a-hole about it. He actually came in and stepped in and helped. And that's the thing that really, it just crushes that thing about race and racism. We're all people here together on this planet.
Now, just a quick note, brothers and sisters that are listening to the show around the world, we are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitter. Eventually, I'm going to start streaming on Facebook when I set up my Facebook page. When I find somebody to help me do that again the right way with my podcasts, because I really don't feel like doing it myself. But I want to give a shout outs to the brothers and sisters that are also tuning in audibly on Spreaker. So a couple of things here. Let's shout out Duty of Man. Duty of Man wrote something that's very interesting, and I like it. He says, "Great script. Had our people obeyed that script, other nations were to have followed the example." Okay, and even though the example that's been given by the Messiah, we still struggling. We still struggling with the following the example. All right. Shout outs to the brothers and sisters out in the UK. Shalom to brother Ash. Shalom to New Jersey, sister Nama. Shalom to you. Shalom to brother Samak that's tuning into as well on Spreaker. Shalom to brother Usiah that's tuning in. And grand rising to all of you, brothers and sisters that I mentioned, and everybody else that's tuning into the live broadcast that's not in the chat rooms, because I see y'all in my stats.
Peace and greetings.
As always. I used to have more people that was in my chat room that came from that, that other place, that cult. And let me tell you, I'm happy that I don't got no fake ones in here no more. You know what I'm saying? Some pretenders. So with that being said, let's take a brief intermission, and play some of the music from the brothers that be sending the music. And if you want to send me some independent music that you've created, that you want to promote, that you have, anywhere or on your SoundCloud or Spotify or whatever it is you do, email me at ORRA@networkofawareness.com. And what I'm gonna start doing too is I have the Cash App and the PayPal for donations in the description box for each episode. I'm gonna start doing now, and that's exactly where you can pay me. You can pay my business account on PayPal, or you can pay my business Cash App, which is $ Network of Awareness. You can make donations, or you could pay the $75 to have your music spin for 5 days in a row, and then stay in forever rotation. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, let's play some of this fire music from our brothers and sisters that are so gifted and talented that the Most High has definitely favored and blessed with the ability to give all praises. And let's start it out. All right.
All right.
Hey, hey, hey.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Busting the window, a knock on the door, a peep to the peephole. I finally don't made it inside. Finally, you probably wonder what I'm doing here. Looking for pieces from my past, running y'all to find them. If I find them, I can put them together. I just want to take a seat and sit out instead of the puzzle. I just want to know what I did wrong, What I got to do to fix it and make it right. Cause right now I'm sitting in darkness, running y'all to beam the light down. On the location of the puzzle, on the area I need to visit next. Hey, I spotted me on Marcus. Let me write on the wall that I've been here. On that I cried and reminisce on the bullshit that I did in my past. I was a dumbass. Straight from the gutter to the porch. While I jump off the porch when getting ready. Running y'all that homie steady. I was my last tear as I head out to my journey.
Here we are, united so strong.
open up, let me in, let me in. I'm looking for him that can change my life and clean all my sins, clean all my sins. Not looking for Jesus, not looking for God, I'm looking for Yah. And I'ma keep getting louder, louder every time I knock. It's been a long journey. Had to walk it all solo. I'm trying to live forever, ever. Never yelled out YOLO. Never yelled out YOLO? No. Do you play both sides? No. Do you like to get high? No. Are you scared if you die? No. I've been through the fire, I'm tough enough for that spiritual armor. I done found a Messiah. You can go and tell mama. My head's high, now I'm laughing when they try to bring the drama. Arms on, legs on, chest on, heads on, arm.
We are united, so strong. We've gone so far. Our praise to the Most High. The battle isn't over till I'm standing on top.
We started something right here, y'all. Yeah. Saluting to my family, I'm honored to spit on this. You are in the splash zone, I don't need no helmet. This is special to me, metaphors crazy. About to butcher this beat, Micah Myers psycho. Never been unstable, I am very faithful to my sisters, to my brothers. Yes, we come from different mothers. Shout out to the Hebrews, the one who is righteous. The other knuckleheads need to drown in the ocean. Very fortunate that I found a real family, the ones you know your whole life turn on you swiftly, on and off like a light switch. Two personalities stay very far away. Real artists on here, we are here to stay.
We are united, so strong.
In line, yet here we are cause we love Yah. No moonlight in here, the grass ain't greener on the other side. We right where we need to be. Thank Father Elohim, he believes in me. Hands to the east, on my knees, can't achieve without the King of Kings. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to serve the Son and Father. I feel content, thank you Lord for the wisdom and knowledge. Cause here I am, here we are, till the end, standing strong. Every day, heads up high, to the sky we battle on. The breastplate is strapped on, this is Babylon. No time for games, no time to play around, this ain't basketball. The path we're on is extra long, 1/3 is excellent. We keep the loss to the best of our ability with humility. Man, it's hard, but the euphoria keeps us pushing forward. Ain't no grumpy old troll put us down, not even COVID. Cause truth is a journey and it's a test of fate. A tough fight, yeah, but here we are. All praise Yahweh.
Here we are, united, so strong. We've gone so far. Our praise to the Most High. The battle isn't over till I'm standing on top. Cause together nothing to it. Know that we can do it. Here we are.
When the light has faded and darkness is abroad, the light is only dim because the darkness teaches us lessons that need to be learned in order for one to move forward. Embrace the darkness, for the darkness is your friend. So there is no end. It's only an illusion to what has been. Follow the light and let the spirit embark on a flight to a destination unknown, but to a place where love is the building blocks that call this place home. We are always accompanied on this journey, but still feel alone. It is never the same journey or experience that is ever shown. It is your imagination that awakens the passion that will weather the storm, because it is the pure compassion in the soul that is vigorous and strong. We're one with eternity, so let's be connected to the positive stream that allows us to fulfill our infinite destiny, most definitely. Let's strive to be the best people we can be with a power that is humanly new to see. So mistaken dismay can lead us astray, so let us stay, for it is our free will that allows us to make a choice. So I choose Yahweh with no delay. I'd have made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been a lot before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime they can drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourish until I perish.
Yahweh's gonna save the awakened, then take him to an ageless haven. Patient, I can't stray away, gotta keep obliterating the pavement. Still remember that day on the phone, Marquis said, yo, don't you take your foot off the gas, always something to give y'all praises.
We're the dark oasis, countless cases, a peak of faithless. I'ma need the patience, defeat them chases. We seek his graces for true salvation. We keep on praising, we go on blazing these revelations. Cease to hate, no altercations. Good vibrations, we back to basics to build foundations. Now defeated Satan. I'd have made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been a lot before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime they can drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish. People pursuing acts of violence, their persistent act of defiance, freely forming a righteous alliance, truly against the science of pliers. On a mission with wisdom and guidance, steady defeating the ignorant science, sealing convicted and non-compliant. Spiritual wars to move in
Let's
silence.
talk about what matters. Drop the vanity. Folks out here losing their sanity. Kids popping off, lost in fantasies. People grieving over loss of family. The evil that be with the power, turning the people with credence to cowards, seeking to seize believers with vows. Man, even Stevie can see that it's foul.
I'd have made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been a lot before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime they can drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Depression gone with every song. Music led by another echelon.
To get you strong, keep pressing on, long after we dead and gone.
From dusk till dawn, we're righteously armed with spiritual lessons from Yah.
We where we belong, we keep it on, the righteous with third of Zion.
Records embellished with heavenly eloquence.
Elohim's presence presently evident.
Intricate elements, infinite intelligence.
Spiritual specimens lyrically resonant.
The gift was inheritance, smaller percentages.
Carefully measured and meant to be shared.
With the message projected, cemented, embedded.
The sensible question is, what will you give from it? I made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been a lot before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime they can drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness.
from this day to that, for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
The one and only Oxycontin.
Hey yo, Robbie.
Shout outs to my brother from the same Heavenly Father, brother Oxakai, Alpha Talk series and 101 with Oxakai on the Network of Awareness. Stay safe out there, brother.
In the mix, 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 in the mix.
Shout outs to brother Julian. Even though I said happy birthday to you, happy belated birthday, brother. For many more to come. Shout outs to my other nephew, Take One. Let's go.
How can you walk upright when your pants falling and you sipping on lean? Ain't even go a day without Mary. Stuck in a web of dejection. Billboard stars twisting your conscience up like a wind-up toy. Got your daily problems all bottled, but you try to cap it with a pill. Reveling views for the thrill, and escape to remove from the real. Is it really cause you in peril, or is it mimic Hollywood? Sip after sip, snip after snip. You're killing yourself, can't see it's draining your soul and taking a toll. Don't take it from me, tell him JB. Yeah.
My spirit was dead, clouded with haze. I was chasing the high, labyrinth mind, numbing the pain. Stuck in the cycle, I wish I had closed. I look at my wounds, open as torture, but it's too soon. Another excuse, I was addicted. Capital E, evicted out my own body, had no control. Passenger seat, I was out for a ride and I noticed that the ride won't end. Had to jump out that car, took a leap of faith. Too attached, had me crash, got up leaning, and I got out scarred. Most High saved my life, he cut them demons down. He healed me all around. So I'ma tell you right now, this world ain't worth it, no. Those drugs ain't worth it, no. Don't lose your purpose, whoa. Yes, I'm talking to you, children. Listen to your parents now while you have them. Especially hold fast to their words when they talking about Messiah. Consider this a warning now.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo.
How you do? How you do? Here we are back again, about to drop some facts again. Yahweh's word spreads like a vicious net for capturing those with an ear to listen, those who paid attention, those who stand bold like a soldier with their convictions, not quick to fold or throw in the towel when under pressure. They walk it like they talk it, they live the message. But depression's what most folks are facing. They got the vaccination, we in zombie land. Pretty soon we gon' have to dance, better keep that sword in your body, fam. This far from pain, Babylon will bring down the flame. Some deaths are better off real slow, so you can witness the pain. You tortured slaves, 400 plus years of pain. Hung brothers up in the trees, swinging for days and days. Now this is your end of days, you looking so disarrayed. Try to cover your ears, but the truth still gon' penetrate. The hatred is strong, but races still want to imitate and integrate. Only Yahweh's chosen holy nation can ever be this great.
Yahweh's amazing. Before I eat, I'm saying my graces. I pray for knowledge and wisdom and peace. We dwell in greatness. 144,000 frequencies and vibrations. So don't give me amp. Go take a hike and camp like concentrations. Pull up my pants, it's in my genes to elevate genetics. I'm concentrating, no recess to dominate recessives. No car insurance, the way I swerve, they be like impressive. Stephanie Courtney know my flow is looking more progressive. My aura is a network full of awareness and gifts like ORRA, the informationalist. Shout out my brother, take one. All these chances in life, don't hesitate and wait to take one. We are the true Jews, about to take off. Hit the nose, we don't play soft. I pull up and let like 8 off. Watch a demon head splatter, give me back my platter that y'all just ate off.
Yo, remember what we talked about building something special as 1/3? I feel like we're finally here. A righteous Wall Street, bro. Yes, sir, let's get it.
All praise to the Most High. This is only the beginning. Yahweh. Righteously preparing, raising our awareness for social engineering, just faithful but bearing. Salute to those faith in it, kings and queens creating it. That's people awakening. 2/3 keep forsaking him, 1/3 keeps on praising him. Putting all my faith in it, most people be faking it. Munching on some bacon bits, ignorance remains in bliss. In this life I came to win, righteousness I'm living in. Truth is the enlightenment, Yahweh's the embodiment of peace and redefinement. Elohim is in the science, go grown out for lions. Raising the horizons, frequency just heightens. Spirit always brightens, no fear can ever frighten. A man on the mission, living out his visions. True to the tradition, gaining all the wisdom. To be freed from the prison transition with God's mercy. With the early worthy, realist, righteous visionaries. Too many people.
All right. So we're going to wrap things up here at the Network of Awareness. Brother Bon, any last few words? You want to talk? Feel free to, speak as long as you want over this beat. This is called Worse Before It Gets Better.
Oh, I don't really have much more, bro, because we might end up talking for the next 13 hours or something. But I just want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High through Christ for the opportunity to come out here on the Network of Awareness and do our part to make people aware of what's actually happening in these last days. So giving all praises.
All praises, bro. And thanks for coming on to the show as usual. And brothers and sisters, like I said, next week we got a lot of interviews from people from around the world. We're going to be discussing health is your wealth. We're going to discuss matters of the mind, of the spirit. We're going to also discuss the legacies of lies when it comes to the medical tyranny. We're going to be discussing music We're going to have a lot of guests that are going to be giving their testimonials, from military veterans to people that have had overcome major health conditions, from people who have had several life and death experiences and have had some great awakenings, and much, much more. So thank you for your love and your support to the Network of Awareness. And, none of this would exist without the grace and the glory of the Most High that put his hands on this network of awareness. And, of course, with the love and support of you listeners that have not strayed away from that which is and always will be, and support your brothers and sisters that show great fruits in their spirit and are very charitable, because that's all it's about. It's great to have knowledge, brothers and sisters, and understanding, but without charity, it doesn't mean a damn thing. So, with that being said, I want to say peace, love, and light. And also, when you live in the present, there is always an opportunity for a new beginning. And don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness. This is all the information list signing off, and shalom, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.